Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Learning Sound and Synthesis Spotlight interview. I'm here with Aditya, one of the students from my class, and I'm really excited for this conversation today. We're going to be talking a lot about confidence and believing in yourself and going after what you want to be doing as a musician, and how Aditya has gone from maybe feeling a little bit unsure, a little bit hesitant about learning something new, learning modular synths, to where you're at now, which is deeply diving into everything. It's super, super exciting to see. So, first of all, for everyone who's watching live, welcome to all of you. Thank you for being here. Go ahead and say hello. It's always nice to see you live. And I'll pass over to you, Aditya. Can you please give us a little introduction to who you are and what kind of music you like to make?
Hi, I'm Aditya Dipankar. I live in Bangalore in India. Uh, I started with tabla in my childhood, which is an Indian percussion instrument. Later in my life, I have learned singing in the Hindustani classical tradition. Uh, a little later than that, I started to learn the saxophone, the sound of which I was fascinated by. And then a friend of mine introduced me, just gave me a glimpse of VCV rack not so long ago. I was fascinated and I really wanted to learn it, but I felt overwhelmed. I did not know how I can get started. And then I got introduced to your course, which is the very starter course. That's what got me started. Um, the kind of music that that I like. I have a lot of different interests. Um, I love jazz. I
Mhm.
love this genre, which is intelligent dance music. I love Hindustani classical. I love Western classical too. I don't listen to it so much, but I love it. I love instrumental music in general. I love the sound of the saxophone. And most recently, I have been fascinated with brain jazz. I've been listening to a few brain jazz artists. Uh,
Interesting.
yeah. I've been listening to your music too, Sarah, and I've been really enjoying it as well, I
Oh,
must say.
thank you. So I'm so curious. Are you interested in potentially combining all of these different instruments and ways of making music together? Like, do you see a potential for maybe tabla, saxophone, and modular synthesizer all coexisting? Because that sounds like it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm certainly very excited about. I mean, and I'm already working on some music in which I'm bringing together modular synthesis and saxophone.
Yeah.
What I discovered, so I was very lucky. As soon as I started so I signed up for your full course, and as soon as I did that, I was enrolled in, or rather, I was invited to a residency, an artist residency, for a whole month. And this was in a very peaceful, beautiful place in a university in India, in outskirts of Pune. And this 1 month gave me the time to dive deep and come up with some simple thing. And what I realized during this time was that I was a newbie, and so what I was enjoying was to create these simple drones for myself. Not like a, I mean, yeah, I mean, there are drones which are a very unidimensional kind of sound, but with VCV rack, I could really make it a little more interesting, little more playful, vibrant, and that was facilitating exploration with the saxophone for me. So now I'm on that journey, and that's how I'm just exploring. In fact, a couple of weeks ago, I have started to create a piece, and I'm very excited to put it out soon, which is simply combining this drone with improvisations using the saxophone.
Oh, beautiful. I can't wait to hear it. Please share it within our community once it's out. That's so exciting. Okay, great. So you have such an amazing musical background, which is really, really great to hear about. And I'm curious, or actually, the one thing that you mentioned that I just want to make sure people know about is you said VCV rack. And I think a lot of people in this community know what that is. But just in case you don't, VCVRAC is a free virtual modular synth environment that runs on your computer. And it's just an amazing tool. I use it all the time, not just for teaching, but in general for sound design as an extra instrument when I'm performing. It's an amazing tool. I don't work for VCVRAC. I'm just a big fan. So if anyone's curious, you can check them out. And if you're a complete beginner as well, let me just really quickly put this link up on the screen because it's very relevant. This is the course that Aditya was talking about that helped you get started. It's a completely free course. So if you're not sure, if you're kind of curious and you just want to try it out, you can do this whole thing in less than 2 hours. And by the end, you will be making your first pieces of music using a modular synth for free. So soundandsynthesis.com/firstsynthpatch, or just send me a DM too if you want me to send you the link, and I'll do that. Okay, so you have such an interesting musical background, and you eventually found your way into the world of modular. And how can we talk a little bit about how that experience was for you, getting into coming from a background in singing, tabla, saxophone, and then going into something very different, modular synths? Was it a smooth journey? Was it easy? Was it difficult? What came up in that process for you?
Um, I think I was being called towards this world of modular synthesis in some way. Last year, in fact, I was re invited from some unknown spaces to listen to some brain jazz music, as I shared earlier. And I couldn't stop listening to it. I was luckily traveling, solo traveling, and I was in very quiet places. India is not really a quiet place. If you walk around, people are honking. But I was in quiet places, walking, and I was really enjoying this music. And I just got drawn to it a lot. Um, and I'm sorry, Sarah. What was your question again? I got lost there.
That's okay. I was asking about your entry point into modular, and just if you could share more about that journey. Because for some people, I don't want to lead you too much, but for some people, it can be a very difficult thing to get into, right? It can be very intimidating, very overwhelming. So I'm just curious to hear from you what that process was like, what challenges came up, and you know, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really would say that, in fact, the free course that you just shared the link to really got me started and got me confident with doing something, making something, having fun. I just really started to play around. By the end of the course, I was able to start to have some fun, get curious, and I was really excited to make something. And that combined, in fact, with the brain jazz exposure I got, and I thought that, hey, I have to really make something and keep going on this journey.
Yeah. Did you, I know when we were talking before, you mentioned that you had a little bit of a fear that maybe you weren't going to be able to like make something that sounded good or make something legit. Do you mind talking a little bit more about that? Because I think that's something that a lot of people will be able to relate to.
Oh, yeah. Um, I have been trying to make music since a long time now, not just modular synthesis, and I've been very self-critical.
Mm,
Um, I've recorded a ghazal in the past. So ghazal is a light form of Hindustani classical music. So I've composed and recorded ghazals in the past. Um, uh, and in fact, I used to jam with my brother. We had a drum kit, an electronic drum kit, and he used to be on his electric guitar. We used to put on record and make things, and we used to really enjoy that many, many years ago. I'm talking 10 years ago. Um, of late, I became more and more self-critical because I was listening to such good music, all the good jazz that I was listening to, all the greats, the maestros and all that. And then this new electronic music, I've been listening to Prefuse 73, which is another great IDM artist.
right.
Um, and and then a couple of years ago, I just, by some stroke of luck, I got introduced to improv theater. And the thing with improv theater is that you you are on stage and you perform as you just do your best, and you believe in yourself, you work with your team, and so on and so forth. Somehow that connected with some things that you have said. You said a couple of things that, in fact, one thing that really stood out which you have said is that, keep things simple.
Yes.
And and that really struck a chord with me. I thought, in fact, when I started to explore with the full course, when I signed up for a full course, when I started to explore, um, of course, initially I was not really getting anywhere in my own mind. I was just sort of, making sense of everything, and it was becoming complicated. It was becoming noisy, and all of that. At some point, I thought, hey, let's keep it simple. Let's just make something simple, something that sounds good. It doesn't need to sound great. And this one track that I've in fact uploaded in April on Bandcamp is just my effort to uh, trust myself, in the sense that, hey, it's simple, but it sounds good. It sounds like me. And that's really, I mean, that's enough of a great start for this journey.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's so much enough. I mean, it's more than enough. You said so many amazing things that I just want to echo for people. The idea of improv, I didn't know that part of your story, or maybe I'd forgotten it, but that's so powerful that you were very self-critical, which can relate. I'm sure a lot of people can relate. And then you came into this world of improvisation, and whether it's musical improv or theater-based improv or whatever it is you're doing, there's something magical about it because you don't really have that choice to be perfectly prepared. It's not how it works, right? It's all about the moment. It's all about being who you are in that moment, listening, reacting, responding, and being present. And I have such a similar experience where I came from a very strict classical background and I was very like overwhelmed with being perfect all the time. And then I discovered improvisation and it was like, wow, like that sound that wasn't quite right is actually kind of beautiful if we explore it a little more with a little more intention. So I just want to say that for everyone out there, it's just something to consider. If you find yourself deeply focused on making good music or doing the right thing or the right next step, maybe just challenge yourself to have a little moment where you you make it all up and it's allowed to kind of suck a little. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can be messy. In fact, the messier the better. I just think that can be so powerful. Um, that's amazing. And then you said something else that I wanted to echo, and now I have completely forgotten what it was. So we're doing great. um, I don't remember what it. Oh, it was simple. Keep it simple. Yeah, that's my number one motto. And I think that simplicity, we can often overlook it when we're getting into modular synths because we think we need complex setups to make good music. But there's so much depth and so much power in simplicity. So I love that. Um, okay, so let's fast forward a little bit. You mentioned you released a track that you're really proud of. That was this initial experiment in keeping it simple. You're working on another one that you're excited to release. What else is going on for you now in the world of modular synths?
um, I mean, needless to say, I really have just started. um, I and I'm really excited to go crazy.
Yes, I
um,
love that.
Yeah,
I love
I mean, if simplicity is so much fun, then a little more complexity, and then a little more, and so on and so forth, can only get more and more fun. I've been listening to your recent album, and that sounds a lot of fun. So, yeah, I think, and I've been meeting people who've been talking to me about videos in which you share about the simpliciter and so
yeah,
on, and I'm excited about using all of these different modules simply to have fun.
absolutely.
I Yeah, I really don't know what lies ahead in this journey, but I know that, I mean, as far as I can see, it's a vast world with so much potential for just fun. Um, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's so much fun. I mean, that's why I got into it. That's why I love it so much. That's why I'm so passionate about teaching it. It can be a lot of work, of course. It can take a lot of time and patience, but It's so fun. The sounds are fun, the workflows are fun, and I'm so excited for when you get into more integration between your saxophone and the modular. So it's not just, modular and then you're playing saxophone. Obviously, that's wonderful, but there's some really tight stuff that you can do to make it interactive so that when you play on the saxophone, the modular listens and responds and back and forth. And all of that is in, just so you know, it's all in learning sound and synthesis. So if anyone's listening and they're like, oh God, that's what I want to do, I have some free videos on my YouTube channel that help you get started with how to integrate acoustic instruments with modular synths. So send me a DM and ask for those, and I'll send you some links to some videos on YouTube that I made. But then if any of you are listening and you're in learning sound and synthesis, know that there is an enormous chapter, Module 7, dedicated to integrating acoustic instruments with modular synths together. So that's coming for you if you haven't already gotten into it. There's a question from someone in the chat, if you're willing to field a question. Let's see. They're basically asking about how you balance, well, they specifically said, how did you balance music school and exploring modular? I don't know if you're still in music school, but maybe we can expand the question to be, how do you balance all these various parts of your musical practice while learning modular synths? Because they say they're in jazz school right now, and they also really want to get into modular.
I've attended music school only in my childhood.
Right.
So yeah, and that was for tabla. In the last couple of years, I have started to learn the piano, but that's one on one with the teacher.
Yeah.
So I'm not very well equipped to answer this question at the moment.
Yeah, that's fair. Something that I can offer from my perspective is, first of all, you don't have to do everything at once. It's okay to take your time and to pace yourself. I know you sometimes want to do everything at once. I know that. I feel that. But another perspective is just taking things in bite-sized chunks. So I'm always learning about 3 things at the same time. And I like to just break my time into buckets where I'm kind of rotating through the 3 things that I'm learning. It means that you don't move very fast on any of them, but you inch forward on all 3. And that works for some people. You might realize that's not for me. I want to be all in my world, my jazz guitar world, and that's it for the next 2 years, and then I'll do modular. Or you might be more like me and you find that it's actually really inspiring to do both. One thing I will say is when I started to learn modular, my trumpet playing got way better. I was very surprised, but I was like, wow, I'm learning all these new sounds over here, and now my trumpet playing's opening up. I'm hearing all these new rhythms. I'm curious if that's impacted your saxophone playing in any way, like hearing these new timbres and new textures.
Yes, I think certainly. There's another thing that you've said, which is you've spoken about practice in
Yeah.
some of your writings, that practice should be about enjoying, or rather, that
Yeah.
when it becomes about enjoying the practice, you can practice more. I mean, I've realized that. So the drones that I created and that I practiced my saxophone with, I started to enjoy more. And I mean, I could, in fact, in that sense, play more, play for longer in that meaning, and experiment more, improvise more, come up with more ideas. And I'm sure both are bleeding into each other. The modular explorations are influencing the saxophone and vice versa.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It comes back again one more time to just having fun and enjoying. And I think that that's so good. A couple people are asking about your music. So, and I don't think I have your Bandcamp. Can you tell us your Bandcamp link if
Sure.
you're comfortable with me
Yeah,
sharing
yeah.
that?
Sure. So it's bandcamp.com/, let me just confirm the link.
Please
Sorry.
hold, everyone. We're live Googling here.
Yeah, no, it's bandcamp.com/idokat, IDOKAT.
Yeah, I did have that. I'm sorry. I don't know why I lost that in my notes for a second. Okay,
No
I've got it.
worries.
I've got it for you. Oh, your album art is beautiful. I'm going to share this in the chat. I'm posting it now. And if for some reason you're not seeing it in the chat, just send me a message and I can connect folks over. There we go. Okay, perfect. Thanks for asking. All right. So, once again, I just want to remind everyone if you're new to this world, it's normal to have some feelings of overwhelm. It's normal to be intimidated and a little confused when you're starting something new. Welcome to the club. That's how it works. I think that Aditya talked about some really important things here, which is like remembering that it can be fun, and the more joy that we have, the more fun that we have in our practice, and the more that we just focus on joy as the purpose of our practice, the better everything will be. You actually will make better music in the long run. You will have more fun. You'll get better at your instrument. It all kind of just feeds in a really beautiful way. And send me a message if you want access to my free class to get you self started. I will happily send that along. And I'll also put this up on the page on the screen here as well one more time, soundandsynthesis.com/first synth patch. What else is on your mind, Aditya? Is there anything else that you want to offer someone maybe who's listening, or anything else you want to say to wrap up our conversation?
I mean, I, mm, yeah, I mean, I just keep coming back to the point where I am really, I think, proud of myself for finally simplifying the one of the things that I actually do want to share, yeah, it just came to me. I'm so glad.
Great.
So when I started to explore modular and specifically VCV rack, and I started to patch and listen and craft the sound, I started to realize, and I guess I'm going to be maybe touching upon some process that at least one of the processes that I found useful for myself is that,
Perfect.
especially in modular, what I realized is that I can really work on different parts of the sound, isolate one sound and another and craft it and then bring it all together. So, I mean, this environment, it is so friendly for even a beginner
Yeah.
to really take your time to explore and craft your sound with care and bring things together, or then isolate something and craft it and then isolate another thing and then and so on and so forth. I mean, yeah.
Can you give us some examples? Like, what do you mean by isolate one part? Are you talking about like a melodic sound or a drum sound?
So, well, there's one piece that I have created so far that's purely melodic,
Okay.
and it's in 6 layers,
Okay.
and yeah, and so I created these 6 layers, and then I combined them, and then I later thought that, hey, I want to there's something I want to do with it, which is, I mean, there's something more that I want to do with it. So then I created switches to mute and unmute these 6 layers so that I could work with them in isolation. And I realized that, hey, this can be such an interesting way to craft my sound, which is that, or one of the ways to craft my sound, which is to divide it in layers, much like an orchestra, which is playing. Surely it's the same, like one instrument is playing that same melody, but
Right.
but that one instrument I can craft in so many different ways and then bring it all together, and then I can mute, unmute, and create a whole track. I just really enjoyed arriving at this whole process by myself, just by spending time in this environment. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's something that stayed with me after I created this just one track.
That's beautiful. And it's a really great tip for everyone who's working in modular, or you're brand new to it, or maybe you're not brand new to it, but just it's a really great reminder that, something I like to say a lot is complex patches are actually, or they can actually just be lots of very simple things happening at the same time. And if you think about building a complex patch like a complex patch, you're probably going to make something that's confusing and that you get lost in and doesn't quite work the way you want because it's just so crazy and complicated. But if you can think of, okay, I've got 6 voices, each one is a tiny little universe, and it's very simple, and I can craft it and polish it and then add it in with a mixer or switches is a great idea. all of a sudden now things start to become a lot more manageable. So thank you. I love that. It's so good to have a balance of kind of mindset related topics and then also technical suggestions. So thank you for bringing that up. It's
You summed
perfect.
it up so much better. Yeah, thank you.
No, it's teamwork. It's teamwork. Okay, let me scroll through the chat and see if I see any other questions from anyone. I think I got them all. Just a reminder, if I missed a question or if you are wanting a link to either my YouTube videos about integrating acoustic instruments with modular synths, or you want access to my free modular synth mini course, send me a DM, leave a comment. Any way you want to get a hold of me, just let me know and I'll send you the link. And I think that that's it for today. Thank you, Aditya, so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing your story. Where will you be publishing your new track? Will that also be on Bandcamp?
Yes, it will be.
Okay, so everyone, while you're over on Bandcamp, go ahead and hit subscribe or follow, whatever it's called over on Bandcamp, so that you're notified when Aditya's new music comes out. I'll be doing that momentarily. And please share with us inside the Learning Sound and Synthesis community as well once it's out. I can't wait to hear it.
I
All
will be
right.
sharing.
Okay, good. Okay, everyone, take care. We'll see you at the next interview. Have a lovely week ahead. Bye for now.